Now, they say, well, they may be man's best friend, but would you know how to save your dog in a crisis?
Turns out 9 out of 10 pet owners don't know the basic first aid. I have to admit, I didn't know there was first aid for pets. Rory the Vet is here with the life-saving skills you need, and he's joined by his very glamorous assistant, Poppy, the miniature cockapoo.
Poppy is beautiful.
Poppy, hello, Poppy.
She is gorgeous, isn't she?
So how are you, Rory? Nice to see you.
Oh, good, thank you. We're talking about saving dogs.
We are indeed. So, you obviously want to encourage... Oh, it looks like you might need to.
Poppy.
Oh, can you imagine?
Live demo.
You want to encourage more dog owners to learn first aid.
Absolutely. It's something that so few know, as you said, and those first few minutes of an emergency are key, just like in human CPR and human emergencies. So, actually, if we can spread awareness and spread a few tips and tricks, it could save countless dogs' lives.
And in terms of vets, how important is it, sorry to go off script, but how important is it to know where your emergency vet is? Because when our cat got ill, we had a vet, but then, you know, we had to sort of know where to go, like 24-hour emergency care.
Absolutely, yeah. Most people hopefully know that most clinics are day clinics. There are these overnight clinics, but they will be fewer and far further between. If you call or contact your vet out of hours, almost certainly their phone number will go to the emergency vet.
Right.
So just call your vet and it will give you direction of what to do.
Great, brilliant stuff.
So you were saying earlier that actually summer's a bit of a nightmare for dogs. Why is that then?
Yeah, so summer brings a load of hazards. So, I mean, if you're a dog owner, you may well know about grass seeds, heat stroke. Absolutely, please take her. I've got my other little assistant over here. And really, summer is something we see such a spike in emergencies, such as heat stroke, and it's really important to talk about those, I think.
Yeah.
What about choking? Because I know this is something that, again, I've got a 1-year-old who's eating solids, and it's the biggest panic, and you sort of think, I hope I know what I do in an emergency. And I hadn't thought about the same happening to a dog, but they swallow all sorts of things.
Of course they do. And during summer, of course, it's barbecue season, and you're also out in the parks throwing tennis balls for your dogs and other balls. So balls can get lodged at the back of the throat, and they can cause true choking hazards. Corn on the cobs, actually, is the most common thing for vets.
Do they go for corn on the cobs?
Well, we give them to them, don't we? We eat the corn on the outside, and it's a little chew for the dog. Really dangerous. Actually, one of the most common things for vets have to remove from dogs'
what's the corn on the cob? Well, you mentioned it. Now, look, it's like, is one around?
Rory jinxed this because he said earlier that Poppy was one of the most well-behaved dogs he'd ever dealt with.
Come on, here. Pops, on a treat.
Come on, Pops.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, yeah, she can see the treat jar. OK, so actually you're saying corn on the cobs, avoid that. It's a big choking hazard.
Well, absolutely. And if it's not, if they do swallow it, it won't digest and it will lodge in the gut, and you sometimes have to have surgery to remove it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So what do you do? What's the process? What do you do if something...
So I was going to show Poppy, but we won't do that. We'll use this little chap instead. So when they're choking, you'll probably see the signs is that they actually won't make a noise, just like in humans. It blocks the voice box, so they can't make a noise, and they'll just look very panicked, wide-eyed, sometimes a bit foaming at the mouth, and sometimes pouring at their mouth to try and dislodge whatever it is. And if you can, safely, try and get down and look in the side of the mouth. Now, do not get bitten. It is very common for a panicked dog to act out of character.
Okay.
So even if it's a dog that will never bite its owner, there's a possibility they will. So if you can't safely look in, have a feel outside of the mouth and have a feel underneath here in the soft bit, just either side of the jaw, OK? And what you want to do, particularly if the dog is on its side or collapsed, you want to flip them onto their back and push gently and try and dislodge that. And then the other thing, if that doesn't work, if the dog is still conscious and you can't get them in that position, you could try the Heimlich.
Really? On a dog?
Genuinely a thing.
Really? Does it matter what size the dog is?
I was going to ask the same. Imagine a Great Dane or something.
Right.
Really?
So, Great Dane, you'd be up, you'd be over the dog, arms underneath, just behind the diaphragm, just like in humans, and really 2 arms nice and strong.
Behind the paws.
So
like
just
there.
under here, under here.
Yep.
If it's a small dog, actually what I'd recommend is you pick the dog up, have an arm underneath, so you've got control.
Yes.
And you can also then give them a good pat on the back as you're trying to dislodge that thing from the back of their throat.
Wow, because I mean, is that also the case? Because with children, you have to make sure that their head is lower than so you sort of put them over your knee, would you, almost?
Absolutely. Yeah. So gravity is key.
Yeah.
OK, so let's talk about, you can do CPR on a dog. So how do you go about resuscitating?
You know what, it is very similar to humans. It really is. It slightly varies based upon the dog. So the first thing to do is assess, does your dog need CPR? And I always like the ABC, or some people call it a CAB now. So airway, breathing, and circulation. So check the airway, make sure it's clear. If it's not, you're not going to do effective CPR. Are they breathing and are they responsive? And then do they have a pulse? Now, you can check for a pulse on a dog in 2 ways. You can either have a feel over their chest, if they're nice and skinny. If they're carrying a few extra pounds, you might struggle. But inside the back leg, they've got a very strong femoral pulse as well. So you can have a little feel in there too. If they don't have a pulse, you need to start CPR. So I'm going to get down for this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So dog on their right-hand side, ideally. And then, just like in humans, hand over the top of the chest on the widest part of the chest, other hand over the top, interlink, lock your elbows, and then you sing and Staying Alive. If you want to give me a rendition. There we go.
Staying alive.
So
Staying alive.
that is 120 compressions a minute. And then every 30 compressions, you do mouth to mouth or mouth to nose in dogs. So you want to put a hand underneath the mouth, compress around the nose, make a nice tight seal, and then 2 breaths, making the chest rise, and then back to your compressions.
Is it the same with cats?
So cats, actually, you'd probably do a one-handed compression. So because they're smaller, unless you've got like a Maine Coon or something, you actually grab around the chest like that and press with your thumbs. And you can also do a full circumferential CPR like this as well.
I mean, I don't have a dog, so I don't even know if this is a ridiculous question, but if that was a human, while you were doing compressions, you'd be trying to call 999,
Certainly,
right?
yeah.
So with a dog, say if you're thinking, I'm going to try this, but I've got no idea what's happening, is there an equivalent that you call?
Yeah, I mean, you just get in the car to the vet.
Oh,
the nearest possible vet you get to.
You're off.
Exactly. So, well, Poppy's going mad.
Poppy's just seen what you've done to this dog.
I just thought, you know what? She obviously wants to go somewhere.
So, yeah, get onto the vets.
Yes.
If you can grab a pair of hands, obviously, another person to get you to the vets or to do the CPR while you're there is ideal.
But someone that had to go to a vet with our cat when it was really super ill, you just do your research and know where your emergency 24 hours is. So you're not panicking. You know you can get there as quickly as possible. And
Absolutely.
That was like middle of the night and stuff, you know. Let's talk about poisoning. I mean, there's so many ways for a dog that they eat so much stuff. When we're in the vet, half the time we're in the vets with our cats, there's always a dog in there just eating something.
Yeah, they'll eat anything. I mean, I've seen like dirty nappies, just all sorts of stuff from the road. And in London, chicken bones everywhere.
Yeah.
But the poisons are your raisins and grapes, your chocolate. In cats, as you're a cat owner, lilies, if you didn't know that, they're super toxic. So you really want to be avoiding those things and cluing up yourself on what is poisonous to you.
Yeah, OK.
Would it be obvious? Would they just be throwing up if they were...
So vomiting and diarrhea absolutely is your lower level signs, but actually some toxins can be really serious. So they can cause things like kidney failure, they can cause things like seizuring.
And is that, obviously, for seizures, you know, it's pretty obvious to tell, I suppose, isn't it? But in terms of, other than that, we're looking for, what, lethargy or...?
Yeah, absolutely. Lethargy, collapse, going off their food. The other thing, so certainly when you're trying to assess a dog, if they've had trauma or you think they've been poisoned, there's a few things you can do. So if you have a little look at their gum, if Poppy was here, I'd show you. Lift their gum, and there's a few colours to look out for. So you should be seeing like a nice light pink. If you're seeing white, brick red or blue, I'd get onto your vets ASAP.
What do you do if they have a seizure? Just get them to the vet as soon as possible.
So seizuring, yeah. So everyone tries to go, OK, we'll hold them and comfort them. Totally wrong thing. Move the coffee table out of the way, get a nice clear space and let them do their thing. Don't try and stick your hand in their mouth. They don't swallow their tongues like humans. Just let them ride it out and then contact your vet afterwards. Keep them safe and yourself safe.
That's such a good tip, because I think naturally as a pet owner, you would think, oh, I'll hold them still while the... Yeah,
everyone just tries to do... You're actually better, so let them do the thing. Make sure there's no sharp edges. Make sure they're not going to hurt themselves.
Rory, our nanny's vet, Bobby, who spends a lot of time around our house, Bobby got stung by a wasp. It's a big sort of wolfhound, and Bobby got stung by a wasp. And he was pretty cool. He was pretty chilled. Largely, the dogs kind of, when they get stung, are they largely OK?
Mostly OK. So it's usually paws or sometimes the muzzle if they try to eat them.
Quite a lot of the time of year.
Exactly. So sometimes they will get a really puffy face or a swollen face. That can lead to things like breathing issues. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Always keep a very close eye on them, and absolutely call your vet if you're at all worried or seeing anything that concerns you.
Bobby just sat there really quietly for half an hour, sort of just to give him lots of strokes. Just like, why did that happen?
The big dogs are always the most...
Oh, bless. Well,
thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.